Hi, Jeffrey.
Hi there. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, thanks for being here. I'm so excited to hear all about your book.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to jump right in. I only glanced at your website really quick, and your covers are super imaginative and creative, and I can only guess they have something to do with space, perhaps sci-fi.
It does. It's really a comedy book and wrapped into the whole sci-fi, space, opera, travel world.
Fun, fun. I've had another one of those on my show, Aaron Frail. So if you want to look him up, you guys might have a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
We will. Thank you.
And are your adults are your adults for adults? Are your books for adults, or are they for young readers?
They're really for all ages. What I have found is a lot of the people who are reading, and sorry, it sounds like there's some background noise. The people who are reading it are having fun because it's silly and it's wacky and it's an escape. And they're reading it to their kids, and they're finding their kids are really liking it. And I've done a number of talks to younger kids, like grade 5, grade 6, and people seem to like it because it's to spark the imagination.
Very fun. I think that, especially the past 2 years, these are perfect books. We just want an escape and something fun to listen or read.
Yeah, and look, comedy or laughter, it's, one of the best medicines, right? And there's science behind that too, that, you release endorphins and you make yourself in a position where you're not under stress and you feel better. So just having that little escape gives people that ability just to laugh or smile.
Very cool. And how did you become an author? How did you get into writing?
So when I was in my teens, so I'm more than that now. When I was in my teens, I was reading the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And I really loved it because it was the first time that I realized I could laugh from reading a book and really laugh out loud. And when the series ended, I wanted that adventure to continue. So I just thought, I'll write my own. And when I was writing it, I would laugh when I thought of the concept. I would laugh again when I wrote it and when I read it. And then when I shared it with my friends and saw that they laughed too, I thought, okay, there's something really cool here. It's something to pursue.
Very fun. And how long have you been publishing your books?
So I started that again in my mid-teens. I published my book when I was 51.
Okay.
So
a little bit of a lag there.
It's a little bit of a lag. Sometimes life gets in the way, or your realization of what your direct pathway to achieve certain things are. And lots of life experiences happen along the way. So the context and the content of the story, it now got the opportunity to be interwoven with life lessons along the way. So it, beyond the comedy and the sci-fi adventure, there's the self-discovery aspect of it. And it's different ahas that people would have while reading it. So although it took a long time, it would have been a very different book had I not had that opportunity for the journey.
Well, when you're 16 or 51, you pretty much know everything in both instances, right?
Right.
Or you think you do, at least.
I think you do, in one case.
Until 2 years later, and then you realize you know nothing. Well, tell us about your books, the titles, characters.
The book is called The Ridiculous Adventures of Serbinand. And one way to describe it, it's like a blend between The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Monty Python and Family Guy and some Star Wars kind of thrown in. And it's about there's 4 main characters. Serbinand is this space exploring, fun kind of guy from the planet Placelner. And he's roaming around the universe, and there's story behind that with his friend, which is this computer named Gottfried, and they're just on a fun adventure. And on Earth, there's another character. His name is Jim, and he is just a teenager that's looking for adventure. And he's got a budgie that's his best friend that likes to sing all the time. And something happens and Serbinand and Jim switch bodies. And now there's all these self-discovery and all kinds of crazy things happening from the space creature that I never really describe what he looks like. I describe things that are happening in weird ways that he has to be able to maneuver, but I've left that always up to the imagination of the reader of what he could possibly be like. But when he comes to Earth, it's experiencing gravity, it's experiencing a body in this way. There's all kinds of fun adventures that extend from that.
Very cool. So is Serbinand an alien then?
He would be an alien, yeah.
Okay.
From some far distant planet.
Oh, you did say the name of the planet.
Planet Placelner.
Placelner. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, Monty Python is quoted regularly in my household, so that book would fit right in.
Thank you. You know, what took it to like a whole other level is it got finished last year, and there's a story behind why it was done. But when it got finished, we said, well, this also needs to be an audiobook because it needs to be experienced from that way. And the audiobook allowed it to be taken to a whole new level. So we put out an audition request through Audible, and we had about 100 people who auditioned because we said, we're looking for a fun British actor, a clash between Monty Python, Hitchhiker's Guide, Faulty Tower, On the Buses, you know, that kind of comedy. And one guy just stood out like beyond everybody else. And in my opinion, it's like listening just to a Monty Python skit for like 4 hours.
That would be awesome. Yeah, it would be playing on repeat in my household. And quoted regularly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And probably the only way I could get them to read at this point. So.
It's something different. What a lot of people say is it just allows them just to be silly and just open their imagination for a bit.
Very cool. And so that's the first book you published?
This is the first book I published, and it's part of a series. Each book has those self-growth moments, the ahas, the realizations intertwined with all those laugh out loud moments. So, you know, it's just taking people on a journey in a fun way and experiencing life. Because yeah, he is an alien. He is now seeing things here from a completely different perspective and vice versa.
And do you have the human character be in his world? Do you show both of those? How do you intersperse those?
Yeah, they kind of flip-flop, and the journey will continue in other ways of weaving those around.
Okay. And is it first person? Do you tell it from the character's perspective, or are you like third person here?
It jumps around both.
Okay.
And there is a point within the book that the characters didn't quite agree with the circumstances that they're in. And the author makes an appearance to be able to mediate, you know, point to actually go.
Interesting. Very cool. And so what do you have planned for the series? How many books?
Right now, we have 5 books planned for the series, and that may expand on that. Each one giving a different level of awareness or just different things that will help people on their journeys of book growth. That's where I spent, you know, the in-between phase of starting and finishing the book. My background is in the fitness and wellness and empowerment space. So the initiative that I'm connected to is all about helping people love better how they think and feel and act and look and dream. So those messages are embedded in the book. And what was really exciting for me was being able to see that kids do like it, which means I have a way of being able to impact in a positive way kids that are, you know, at an age where they're impressionable.
Very fun. Yeah, I think those messages of whole body, spirit, mind, health are really sometimes hard to grasp when you're younger, but so important to pay attention to like each one of those pieces.
Yeah, it's really keeping people at all ages in that mindset of being playful and having fun. And in a lot of cases, it allows whatever happens to be going on around you to just fade away for a bit.
Very cool. So we knew you were in the fitness world, coaching world. Can you tell us anything else about yourself that's kind of cool that the readers may want to know?
The science that I utilize in the book, and people have asked about that, is so much more based around the metaphysical. That whole notion of the quantum science of being able to think in a certain way and allow certain things to happen. There's even a game that one of the characters goes through whereby he sits in a chair and he just has to visualize the type of experience he wants to have. So that's the science end. And in my journey of my own self-growth or so, I've spent a lot of time in that and actually got ordained as a metaphysical minister. So to me, it's important for people to see that thought becomes things, and you have the ability to impact your life and how you're looking at your life through the thoughts that you're having.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I was going to ask how much research you did, but obviously you're very researched in this space.
Yeah.
Very cool.
My wife is a big help with that too. So she helps looking at the story from the bigger picture and making sure the story flows with the messaging, and we have still been able to capture all the jokes and all the laugh out loud stuff. So it's a combined aspect of research and our life experiences, and what we have found would be great messages for people to have that just give people a new awareness.
That sounds amazing. That's so cool that you could bring all those parts of your life into like one picture or one pod to put out there into the world.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Very neat. This is my favorite question to ask authors, so hopefully you won't get stumped on it. What do you want? And you've talked about it some, but if you can sum up maybe in 2 or 3 sentences, what do you want your readers to come away from when they read your book? I know some of it's humor, laughter. Is there more?
I want them to come away with the joy of just being playful, of being able to allow their imagination to be opened up. Even for those who never thought of the potential unique talents or skills that they have, to pursue their own passion. So that brings me to how I finished this book. So yeah, it had been sitting like in limbo. I would go back to it every so often if I wanted to laugh or to add another sentence or a paragraph. And then when the whole lockdown stuff happened, my wife Mindy challenged me, and she said, well, why don't you finally complete it? Like, do a passion project, but take it right to the end, like finish it. And I did. And getting a cover done, and everything that's involved in the editing process, as you know. And there was such an amazing feeling of accomplishment of knowing that you finished that. So I want people to come away with the message that they can do things too if they put their passion to it, whatever that is. And just to come away of, to be able to laugh, to be able to just forget what else is going on. And the main one is if they had an aha in some way, and that realization, they did something to impact their life in a positive way, or allow them to share that message with somebody else that impacted their life too.
I love that, pursuing their own passion, whatever it is, inspiring them to do that. That so fits into the Finding the Magic podcast message, because I feel like, and I call it magic, you could call it metaphysical energy maybe, but I feel like all of us has our own brand of magic to share with the world. And I want to inspire people through reading or other medium to just find what it is they love and go for it. I think that's so important. And I think it brings us joy when we can share what is special about us, or unique talents. It can bring us joy as well as contribute to society and the rest of the world. So it's a win-win. And I want to, make sure that people are recognizing that in themselves and then having the confidence to share it. So I love that message.
That's awesome. What's unique of what you said is everything that we do with helping to empower people, through coaching or mentorship or spreading a message, we have a specific assessment system that we use, and it measures people in all different areas of their life. The key goal with it is to help someone be able to realize and step into their power of what their unique talent and ability is. Because when people do connect to what that is, and they allow that to be the guiding point in their life, they'll be happier, they'll find a way to monetize it, and they can do what they truly are good at and have been here and gifted. So exactly what you're saying, people need to be able to connect with that passion and bring it out.
Yeah, I have a science background and I did research for a long time. And what I realized I loved about the research was the creative piece. Like, I wanted to know the answer, of course, but what I loved about finding the answer was finding out how to find the answer, if that makes sense, because you have to set up the experiments in the right way to get your answer. And it was fun for me to figure out how to set up those experiments to get the answer. So now when I'm writing my books, I just love the creative piece because it just kind of feeds that within myself. And the geeky side of me is the person that researches everything, whether it's history or Greek goddesses or whatever it is. So yeah, I've definitely melded those two sides of myself, which it sounds like you have as well.
Yeah. And yeah, a lot of it has been through specific learning, and more so the experience through my life.
Very fun. And it's so cool that you and your wife could do that together. Me and my husband did a project together for COVID, but we landscaped our yard, which I was not a landscape person, like self-professed, I'm never going to do this. And then we were like, oh, I guess we're doing this. So we spent the entire summer cleaning rocks and putting them back in. So that's cool that that she inspired you to do that and you guys could do it together.
Yeah.
And were you a natural writer, or did your editor say, oh my goodness, no, stop?
Yeah, I'm a natural writer. That doesn't mean that that my skills are in grammar and punctuation and all that. So I'd say yes, and I'm perfecting the grammar side of things.
Yes, because you did say you wrote in high school and you liked it. So yeah, had forgotten that piece. I didn't like writing until I was maybe 35 or something. So very cool. Well, it's been great talking to you, Jeffrey. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It was fun too.
Yeah, tell everyone where we can find you.
So if you search Serbinand on Amazon, Kindle, Audible, Apple Books, you'll find it. You can go to my website, which is serbinand.com. And the title of the book is The Ridiculous Adventures of Serbinand. On my website, there's a sneak peek of the first 5 minutes of the audio book and like the first few pages of the book itself.
Very cool. Awesome. Do you have a newsletter people can sign up so that they can get all your new releases, information and everything?
Yeah, it's on my website. There's also a link to the blogs I do. So everything's there.
Very fun. Well, thank you again, Jeffrey, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.